So let's do a little tutorial on InDesign, on building albums in InDesign. So when you open InDesign, you're going to see this little screen. You're going to go here to create new document. And first thing you're going to do is you're going to tell it how many pages you want. Now this is how many spreads, not how many pages. So you're going to do, for 20 pages, you'll do 10 spreads. And you want to turn off facing pages. The next thing you want to do is set your height and your width. So if you're doing like a 10 by 10, it'll be 20 inches wide by 10 inches tall. And then you want two columns. And the margins, I usually say a half inch is fine. The gutter, most albums nowadays don't have a gutter. They print right across the spread, but you don't want to put someone's face right on the gutter, so you usually want to put this like a eighth of an inch. So, and the other thing you want to do is you want to turn off facing pages. So you're going to turn off facing pages, or else you're going to have a messed up book. So when you hit OK, you will see your book. There's a couple little like keystrokes that help to know. First thing is, it's just like in Photoshop. You got Command plus and Command minus. So Command plus will zoom in, Command minus will zoom out. Those help. Also, when you're zoomed in, if you hold the space bar and drag, you can click and drag. You can move the what they call the pasteboard around and to see what you want to see. Also, Command 0 will fit the whole thing to the screen. So if you're like zoomed out like this, you can hit Command 0, or if you're zoomed in really tight, you can hit Command 0 and it'll fit the whole thing on the screen. I usually work with it somewhere around this. So there's a couple different tools over here to know. This is called the selection tool, which is the V key. If you mouse over, you'll see it. That's the V key, and then this is the direct selection tool. Those differ a little bit, so I'll explain those later. There's this is what they call a rectangle frame tool, which is when you can drop a photo into this. This right here is just a rectangle tool, and that is made for like doing like backgrounds, like a black. Like if you want to do just black or like just white or gray or something like that, you would use this, and that'll make a color. Those are really one, two, three, four. Those are the things I use the most. Really, pretty much nothing else I use. So to get started, what you're going to do is we're going to go here. These are the images here that this bride has picked for her book. Typically, I like to do my albums in chronological order. These are all in chronological order right now. So typically, what I do is I usually like to take the amount of photos that they want, divide that by 3, and that'll tell you about how many spreads you need in the book, or vice versa. If you want 10 spreads, times that by 3, you get 30. It'll hold about 30 photos. So I usually try to average about 3 photos per spread. You can do more than that, or you can do less. But if you do more, it's going to be more cluttered. If you do less, obviously that puts more pressure on the other pages. You have to fit more. So basically, this is how I'll do my stuff. What you'll do is you'll drag this over here, and see, you get this when you drag it over into InDesign. You get this kind of like you can drop it wherever you want. Now, unfortunately, I kind of exported these incorrectly. So you see this photo is huge. Well, to size it down, you go here to the edge, and you hold Command and Shift, and when you drag it, it will stay proportionate. If you don't hold if you don't hold Command and Shift, you get this, okay, and it doesn't really do anything. If you just hold Command, it does this number. So if you hold Command and Shift together, it will size down exactly how you want, and then you can drag it right over to where you want. So typically, probably with this image, I would probably just put this front and center right here. And InDesign's nice because it gives you these little, it snaps these little guides here for you. Like it shows you that's the middle. And so that's the middle of the book. That's kind of like, that's the full photo. Now, one of the cool things you can do is if you hit the W key, it'll take away the guides. It'll show you exactly what it's going to look like on the spread without any guides or anything. So that if you hit W, that toggles that on and off. That's really helpful. So one thing I want to do with this is I don't want this white on both sides. And I mean, what you could do is you could drag this out so that it fills the whole spread. But then you lose the top and the bottom. You lose like the top and the bottom, obviously. And now you see that like there. If you hit W, it'll show you the whole thing. Which I could probably work with that. I'm not sure that I would, but and obviously also Command Z is backs you up, is undo. What I might do with this is I'll put black behind it. So what I'll do is I'll go over to this rectangle. And I'm going to go over to this, and I'm going to hit black. And that's going to give me a black rectangle. So now what I can do is I can drag over this, and it's black. But that is now in front of what I just put back there. So if you hit Command and then your left bracket, which is at the top right of your keyboard, the bracket key, Command and the bracket, it moves that to the back. Now, also Command, the right bracket will move it forward. So now I'm just moving it from front to back here. And that's just basically whatever you're selecting will move it frontwards or backwards. InDesign doesn't really use layers. Like you have layers here, but by default, InDesign just puts everything on one layer, which is really nice because with Photoshop, you can get really messed up with having a bunch of layers and like you go to grab something and you're grabbing the wrong thing and all that. So okay, so this is the first spread. So this is, what I'll do is because I don't want to leave that just like that, what I'll do is I'll probably throw some other photos in there, and I may fine tune this later. But so right now I've got that, and then I've got these two. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably put these three on one page, just because they're kind of like all details. So what I'll do next is I'll go over here to this tool, and I'll drag out just approximately kind of how big I think I want it. Then I'll come back over here and I'll drag this next photo into that, and see what it does is it fills it, but it fills it up too big. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a blue box around there. That means it's selected. That one's selected there. Now this one's selected here. You want to make sure that's selected. You want to hit, this is weird, but this is how you do it. Shift Option Command E, and that resizes it down to proportionately, and it fits it inside that box. But see, now you've got this right here. So what you do is you hit Option Command C, and now it fits the box to that. So now if you want to move this around, you can move this frame wherever. If you want to resize it, remember you can do the Shift and Command and drag it out, make it bigger, smaller, whatever. So probably what I'll do is I'll do something like this. Maybe I'll do something like that. And then, so now if I hit W, that's what that would look like on the spread. But I kind of want this to stand out a little more. So I'm going to do what's called a stroke. I'm going to put it around this frame here. And I want to make sure I'm selecting that one. I'm going to use this black arrow. I'm going to select that. And then I'm going to go over here to stroke. I'm going to select the color. It's going to be white. And I'm back select a stroke, and I'm going to increase the weight. And I usually do about 3 points, maybe 2 to 3 points. And now you see I've got that stroke around there. Now, one kind of cool way you can, this already has a stroke on it, I'm going to take that off. One kind of cool way you can save that stroke for easy repetition between photos is go over here to Object Styles, and you're going to go down here and hit, this says Create New Style, and it drops it right there. And what you're going to do is you're going to rename this to, I'm just going to say basic white box. And now anything like, now if I select this and I hit basic white box, see now it has you see the stroke around the edge. If I hit none, see now it goes away. This one here, same thing. I'll hit none, and the stroke goes away. I hit white box, it's back. So that's kind of a cool way to just repeatedly be able to be like, boom, get the stroke, put the stroke on there, and it's done. Now, obviously, I want to try to balance this out. So what I'll do is I'll select this one. You hold Option, and then drag this. It just copies it. It copies it over, and you get these cool little guides that show you exactly where you're lined up. Then what you can do is you can select this one, hit Shift, and select these two, and they'll move together. And then as you move them, now it'll center it properly. So now, see, I got my guides there. I'm centered. These two are centered completely on the middle. I've got the right height all around, so everything's perfect. So those are there. So now I have a duplicate here. So what I'll do is, now I don't want two of the same photos, so I'll take this one and I'll drag it here on top of this one. As soon as I let it go, boom, it's right there. And that's done. So that spread is pretty much how I would like it. All right. Now, for the next spread, I'll say I'll probably take, these are all similar here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what I can do is I can probably break this up into 3 spreads of these images. So what I might do is I might take this one here. I'm going to start with this image. I'm going to size this down, obviously. Now, the reason I'm having to do this, that they're so big, is because I exported these at 72 DPI. If I'd done it at 300 DPI, it would work better. It would do what I wanted it to do. So it's being kind of annoying right now. Didn't want to do that. All right, so now that I've got this set, kind of where I want it, what I can do is I've got this one right above it. So what I can do is I can hit Option, drag this down to this spread, and I got to move that to the back. So I'll hit Command left bracket, and now it moves to the back. And now, so that spread is like half done. So now what I can do is I can drop the other next 2 photos I want on there. But sometimes I don't like to have everything match from page to page. So what I can do is I can drop this over here, and now I've got space here to put 2 photos. One thing that's really easy about InDesign is that I can just take this. I've already got one kind of the size I want. And what I'll do is I'll line this up, hold Option again. Now I've got 2, and now I'll select both, center them up vertically, and now they're spaced correctly all around. And see, I'm keeping this girl here on the end. I'm keeping her within this line. When you submit this is where it will print here. This here is 20 inches. If you look at the ruler up here, this is 20 inches wide. Okay, these are just safe lines. This won't get cropped out or anything. image will have all this in it, but like you may lose a little bit when they trim the book. So you want to try to keep stuff in from the edge. You don't want to put people too close to the edge because you can get them cut off and stuff. Like these feet, these should be completely fine. Here, you may lose like the top of the curtain there. You know, no big deal. So now, obviously, I want to drop something on top of those. So what I'll do is I'll take. Oh, I got this one back here. I got this one here. I want to drop on top of it. So I'll drop that one there. And I'll take this next one and I'll drop it right here. Boom. So that one's done. Next spread. These three. See, on this one, you've got like some negative space over here, and this is a vertical. One of the cool things about square books is that a horizontal photo and a vertical photo fit perfectly right next to each other, which is actually like kind of cool. So what you would do is you would get this one, and remember I'm holding Command and Shift to move these kind of where I want. And then I'm going to go back here. I've got this photo here. What I'll do is I'll drop it right here next to it. Hello? Why is it taking? I don't know. Oh. Alright. Yeah, sorry about this. I should have done these at 300 DPI, and they would have worked out much better for this album layout. So as you can see here, I've got this photo here, and they do overlap a little bit, but it's not a huge deal. I can cheat this one a little further that way, and see I've got, I'm not too worried about covering up her at the edge because this is kind of the subject matter here. So I'll put this here. Now if I wanted to move this one behind it, I would hold that Command and left bracket, and it moves it to the back. Now same thing, I can just move it back and forth, but I don't want to do that. I want to keep this right here. Now the other thing you could do is this here. If you just click and drag this, you can narrow this up a little bit, but I don't necessarily want her nose sitting right there, so I'll probably just pull this back just a little bit. You gotta kind of look at things like that when you're designing albums. And then all right, so now I've got those two together, and I've got room for one more. I've got to fit this one in there before I start. Let me see. I've got to fit this one in next, or this one in next. So what I'll do is I've already got these photos here. So what I'll do is I'll hold Option, pull this down here, and I'll probably work this in here like this. I don't want to, I've got my guide here, so I can kind of see that it's going to be centered on this page, like aligned up in the top corner of that page, and I'm not really covering anything up over here, and I can move that over a little bit if I need to. And I don't want to, block any of this. So what I'll do is I'll take that, and now I'll move this, I'll drop this on top of there, and it sizes it, fits it perfectly, and there you go. And that's pretty much, how to use InDesign. One thing you can do is if you want to change the composition, say this photo right here, I click once. If I click once on this photo, it defaults to like where I'm grabbing the whole photo. If I double click, see this turns orange, and if I hold Option and Command, Command and Shift, I can drag this out, and it stay within the box. It gets bigger, and then I can move it around in the box. So I'm making the actual photo bigger, but I'm not changing out the actual blue here. That's staying the same. So I'll show it to you one more time. So if I just mouse over it, I see, I can just move the whole box. If I double click, now it turns orange. And also you can do it with this. If you just click on that, that little circle right there, if you click on that, it turns orange, and then you can kind of drag this out. So if I wanted to make that a little bit tighter, I could. Like same thing with this one here. I could kind of, zoom in within that frame. It's just like cropping it, except it's very, it's a lot quicker, not that I would want to. I mean, the composition is the composition, so, I don't want to, mess with that too much, Obviously, and if I want to make this back to how it was, I just do that weird one, Option Shift Command E, and now it sizes it back. This one, same thing, Option Shift Command E, and it sizes it back. What was the other one? This one here, Option Shift Command E, done. The other thing that you can do is if you select two things like this, you can hit Command G and it'll group them. So now these things will always work as one. These will always move as one. And if you want to ungroup them, you hit, I think, Shift Command G, and it ungroups them. So now they move separately. The other thing is that if you wanted to put, like, I'll just show you a kind of a for instance. Sometimes with reception photos, what I'll do is I'll do say this was a reception page. I'll do like 6 photos on a page. So I'll select these two, Option, drag these down here. So now I've got these 2 photos. I'm going to bring these closer. What you can do is you select 2 photos and then you hit Shift Command and drag this out, and you drag out both photos at once. So now you've got that, and then I'll do hold Option. I'm going to copy both of these, center it, copy them both again, center it, and actually you'll see these 2 little arrows. See these green arrows down here? See it's showing me, oh wait. It's showing me that these are spaced evenly. You get these little green arrows, which is kind of cool. So now you've got correct spacing, and now what I'll do is I'll go back here, I'll select all these, and just make sure they're all, and now they're all completely perfectly spaced within the spread. And then if I want, what I could do is, this is just a for instance, I could go through here and I could drop photos on each of these. And now it's like, that's that, it's done. And then for the next spread, say I had like a bunch of reception photos, like towards the end of the book, and I'm just doing, I got to do like 6 photos per page. What I'll do is you can just select the whole thing, Option, drag it down, and now you're set. And now it's centered up, it snaps it right where it needs to be, and now you can go back and fill these. So if you want to reorder pages, like say that you wanted to swap the order of, like, say you wanted to put a space in between here, what you can do is you can grab this one and you drag it until you see the black arrow shows up right there, the black bar, and now it reorders the pages. Now if I wanted to move that back, I move it there, and now it's back. If I wanted to drag this one all the way down here, go after 5, and now everything moves up 1. Now I want to go to the beginning, so I'm going to drag it, and you see the black bar on that side, and now it's back to how it should be. Let me see, what else am I missing here? One of the cool things about InDesign is that it will show you, like, for instance, like this photo right here is this is a big spread, okay? I'm going to go here to my links and see this is showing you this is 253 DPI, so it's going to print less quality than full size. So I can actually, if I wanted to edit this in Photoshop and make it bigger, I can right click here, edit original, and it will automatically take me into Photoshop, and I can do whatever I want to that photo. I can color correct it, do whatever I want. So I'll hit open image, and now if I wanted to resize this, I want to make it, that's not what I want to do. I want to make this larger. So I'm going to make it so it actually fits the spread, which is, so it's going to be 10 inches tall. I'm going to bring this down. So I'm going to hit OK. It's going to make it a little bit larger. All right. Then I hit File, Save. I'm going to save it. Let's see, right back into where it was. I'm going to save it right back into here. Hit Save. Yes. Replace. Yep. That's right. And then when I go back to InDesign, watch this. It updates. It just updates automatically. So now it's, instead of being 250 DPI, now it's, I upsized it, so now it's 296 DPI. So it's actually closer to 300 DPI, which is where you want, like if I was to take this photo right here, it's showing 282 DPI. If I was to drag this out and make this bigger to where it takes up like the full spread, drag these out to the edges. I don't necessarily like that, but this is just a for instance. Now this gets a lot less. Now 200 DPI. It might print okay, but it might not. Okay. So what you can do to remedy that is, go a little bit bigger on that. All right. So what you can do to remedy that is you can right click, edit original, open image. Now you're going to do image size, and that's going to be 20 inches wide. So I'm going to make it 20 inches wide. It's going to make it bigger. Boom. File, save, replace. Okay. Now when I go back to InDesign, see it updates, and now it's correct. It's 299 DPI. 299 DPI. So it's of proper quality. With stuff like this, you don't have to worry because, look, 700 DPI. That's going to be plenty. It's going to look great. You're not going to have to worry. Stuff like this, you made it a little bit larger. You might have to worry, especially on something like a 12 by 12 book. You're going to have to go through and make all of your photos bigger so that they print with better quality, or else you'll get pixelated images. I had that happen one time. I missed an image that was a full spread of like a ceremony, and I used a web-sized image by accident, and I put it in this book, and they printed 16 inches wide, and it looked like absolute garbage. And I opened the book, and it was like right in front of me, and I was like, oh Lord. So I had to send it back, get it reprinted, and that was completely my fault, So you always want to make sure. That's one of the great things about InDesign, is that you can go through, like you can start at the beginning, and you can go through here, and you can look at every single one of your images. These are links. These are all that's in your book right now. These are all the links that are in your book. If you double click on something, hit what do? Go to link. It'll take you right to that photo. Like if you see one that's like, you see the PPI there. If you find one that is not big enough, you can just go right to it, and it'll just take you right to the thing, and you can resize it. So yeah, so the things to remember, the things to like kind of write down as far as the keystrokes. The keystrokes will really save you in this. Is W toggles your guides on and off. The Option Shift Command E is what drops your, like when you drop this in and it's like this big and you're like, oh wait, that's not what I want. You hit Option Shift Command E and it'll size it right to the proper size. So if I wanted to drop something right here, I drag this. This is like completely not the right size box there. But what I'll do is I'll take this photo here. I'm going to drop it right in that box. And of course, it's like looks ridiculous. And as soon as I hit Option Shift Command E, it's like proportionately perfect, fits in the box. And then Option Command C. So those are the two things you're probably going to use the most. Are those two keystrokes. This one, if you mouse over it, that's your V key, that's your A key. Your rectangle frame is F, M. I don't really necessarily use those keystrokes that much. And also, like I said with your object styles over here, if you want to add that stroke to this one, you just click that. You already saved your object style, and now it's there. So the other one is moving something forward or backwards. So if I move this one here, if I move this backwards, Command left bracket, it's going to go behind that one, and then it's going to go behind that one. So move it forward, it comes forward one, forward two, and it's not really a layer, but it is. They're layered on the board. Okay, so say that this is everything you want right here. What you would do is when you're done, you're going to hit File, Export. Obviously, you want to save this first. So, but what we're going to do is we're going to Desktop, New Folder, Test Spreads, and then I'm going to call this Carly Book. That's what it's going to call the spreads. So I'm going to hit Save. These are going to be JPEGs, and I want to do all of them. I want to do maximum quality. Resolution is going to be 300 dpi. If you want to do like a web size preview, you can do either 72 or like 96, and it'll make them smaller. But I just do 300. RGB color space, sRGB, all that, and you hit Export, and it's going to churn these out just like that. And let's see, as I go to, where is that? I'm trying to find, where did it end up? Where'd it go? Oh yeah, test spreads right there. I was looking for something else. So anyway, so now here's your spreads as they pop up. Obviously, see these here, I didn't put anything on it. So if you look at these, like that is one JPEG right there. That's one flat JPEG ready to print, ready to send to the album company. Everything's ready to go. Obviously that's two different spreads, and then obviously these are all those I didn't put anything on. So there's all 10 spreads. It labels them for you and everything. So that's pretty much the basics of how to use InDesign. And I'm sure that I'll probably remember that I forgot something, and I'll probably make another video for people to see. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions.